Ranking Member, Mr. Vice Chairman. I'm pleased to be back and sitting here at the dais at the EPA Committee. Thank you very much for your testimony. Thank you for the conversation we've had in my office. Thank you for your willingness to serve. Let me highlight a couple of things that we may not have talked about when we did visit. I want to describe the Kansas oil and gas industry to you. We are an oil and gas producing state, but our production is done by really small independent companies that produce from what we call stripper wells, which means they produce less than 15 barrels of oil a day. It's a significant component of the Kansas economy and significantly important. And in my view, this small-sized, small businessman and woman who operate oil and gas leases and explore for additional production of oil and gas, the EPA has written one-size-fits-all solutions. We are not the majors, and we are stripper well producers. And I just want your commitment to work with the industry, these small producers, to find right-sized regulations for the circumstances that they're in.
Senator, I would welcome an opportunity to travel to your state to meet with them, whether it's at your office or elsewhere. I want to know about all of your priorities, including this one, but also to make sure that anyone who could provide any type of insight that can make me better informed to make better decisions, that I welcome any of those opportunities for conversations and collaboration.
I think that's a wonderful offer on your part, and I'm very grateful for it. I sometimes am reluctant to ask every nominee that comes before me, would you please come visit Kansas? And you volunteered. So I'm appreciative of that. And I would tell you, I can't imagine the excitement, the opportunity that people in that industry would see to have the capability of talking to somebody with you, like you directly in a state like Kansas. So thank you, and we'll get on your schedule, although you have to say once confirmed. So I look forward to that. In a different vein of energy production, I've created with my colleague Senator Bozeman and others a Sustainable Aviation Fuel Caucus. Kansas and Wichita in particular is the air capital of the world. We produce many more general aviation aircraft than anybody. We manufacture with thousands of employees working in aviation and aerospace. And I want to bring together the opportunity to bring the agricultural aspects of Kansas together with the aviation aspects and pursue the development of SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel. I wanted to know, I guess the question would be, we need your help in pursuing opportunities to develop the technology and any regulations that would follow that. And I suppose if you're coming to Kansas, we ought to introduce you to the people who are in the process of developing a new industry as the airline industry shifts itself from fossil fuels to, let me say that differently, from the fuels it uses today to sustainable aviation fuel produced by agricultural byproducts.
Senator, I look forward to that conversation as well.
Okay. The state revolving funds, I don't know whether anybody's asked this question before, but it'd be a mistake for me. That clean water and drinking water state revolving funds are hugely important. I represent a lot of communities in which they are placed under significant requirements by the federal government, but they don't have the ratepayers. They don't have the number of users of water. It stands out to me, the small town in my home county, a town of about 80 people, have a regulation that they couldn't raise the rates on their water users sufficiently enough to pay for the regulations. And so the Clean Water and Drinking State Revolving Fund is hugely important to help small communities meet the needs. Many, if not all, want to meet those standards, want their consumer, their water purchaser, to have the cleanest, safest drinking water possible, and yet the rules are so unaffordable, they don't know where to turn. I'll work with you, and I just want to make sure that you would commit to continuing to support a robust funding.
Yes, Senator. Ultimately, the funding level will be set by Congress. It will be my responsibility to ensure that I'm doing my part to fulfill congressional intent and being good steward of tax dollars so that I can report back to you on all sources of funding coming through the EPA. This specifically, I've heard from other colleagues of yours on this dais as a top priority of theirs, and therefore it will be a top priority of mine too.
I thank you for that. I would also add that you should need to be a voice within the administration as the budget is prepared and OMB makes decisions in support for the fund as well. It's certainly true that presidential budgets are not irrelevant, and it's useful if we start with a robust number that is beneficial to the country. Last question I'll ask is, I'm interested in what our country's doing. I'm involved in the national security aspects of my time in the Senate involves those things. Is there any role for EPA to play in the critical minerals world?
Yes, Senator. President Trump has expressed a desire of having an energy council. He wants there to be collaboration between different agencies of different levels of jurisdiction. That involves everything from permitting reform, which is one topic actually that I heard Senator Whitehouse reference earlier in his opening remarks. I believe that it is important for agencies to be working together, regardless of whether we are the lead agency or we have a different role to play of following another agency. But I look forward to any collaboration working with other agencies to do EPA's part.
Congressman Zeldin, thank you for taking my questions and responses.